Hello, I'm Ron Miscavige. I'm a Marine and I'm an American. And I'd like to talk to you about that today. So let me get started. When I was 17 years old, living in Mount Carmel, Pennsylvania, which was the town I was born and raised in, I met a Marine recruiter on the main street in our town. After talking to him, I realized I wanted to be a Marine. Now, since I was only 17, my dad had a sign for me. So I can remember going up to his insurance office on the second floor with the Marine recruiter and the papers and asking my dad to sign up so I could go. And he said, "Ronnie, are you sure you want to do this? They're the first ones in." I says, "Yeah, Dad, I want to become a Marine." So he signed for me, and that's how my adventure started. Anyway, we went to Philadelphia, and that's where I was sworn in. It was a big room with all these recruits, and there was one guy up the front. We all raised our right hands, and once we said, "I do," or whatever the words were, or "I agree," there's no turning back. I was, at that point, a Marine. So then we took a train down to Parris Island, which is the Marine Corps recruit depot. That's in South Carolina. And on that train, you had all these recruits. And I am telling you, there was all different shapes, forms, religions, creeds, farm boys, city boys. I thought, what the hell is this? They're going to make all of us into Marines? Anyway, we got to Parris Island, and that's when the shock began. Because the first night down there, your head is shaved, you end up taking a shower, getting your allocation of clothes, and we went into the barracks, standing there in our underwear, in other words, a t-shirt and skivvies. And I don't know if you ever saw Full Metal Jacket, but let me tell you, that is not an exaggeration at all. That's exactly how it was. It was like a nightmare. And I could remember thinking to myself, man, this is the biggest mistake I've ever made in my life. I got through it. At the end of boot camp, I do remember distinctly thinking to myself, I can make myself do anything. That experience changed me from an undisciplined civilian. Let me have it again. Changed me from an undisciplined civilian into a disciplined Marine. And I can remember the drill instructor, the first day we were there, he said, "We're going to knock that civilian shit right out of you." That's exactly what happened. Now, that gain of that self-discipline, that was a gain for life. Many other traits come out, though. And these are some that are very desirable. I mean, one of the biggest one is this: your willingness to confront anything. And let me tell you something. If you can't confront something, you can't handle it. You have the ability to confront it. That's the first step to handling it. Not backing down from a bully. There's no way you would do that ever again. All right? Being honest with your friends. Like you give them your word, that word is good. Being faithful to your friends. Listen, the Marine Corps motto is Semper Fidelis. That means always faithful. You get that in a few short months. And if you can retain that, and many people do, you will lead, along with these other traits, a far more successful life. I know I have, because I've used those disciplines and traits in achieving quite a bit of success in many fields. So now, I took a look at this when I was going over these points to write down, and I thought to myself, all of those recruits were Americans. Well, maybe in most Americans, those are in the DNA of simply living in this country and having them, but maybe not demonstrating them because there's nothing in your environment that makes them come to the surface. Listen, boot camp pushes the environment in on you. It's rough. These traits come out. They come out, or you quit and you say, "That's it, I can't take it," and they'll let you out. But if you can make it through it, you achieve these. And sometimes when an American has the environment come in on them, he'll say, hey, wait a minute. You're not going to do this to me. And all of a sudden he demonstrates these traits and leads a more successful life from that point on. Just think about that for a minute. You don't have to accept my words as truth for you, but just look around and see if this happens occasionally. Not always, but it does happen occasionally. Boot camp in the Marine Corps was a shortcut, okay? So look, I started off saying I'm a Marine, I'm an American, and from that viewpoint, I'd like to say to my brothers in the Army, the Navy, the Coast Guard, the Air Force, and the new Space Force, thank you for your service from the bottom of my heart, because we all went in with the desire to protect and defend this country and possibly lay our lives on the line. Of course, many of us didn't have to do that, but that possibility was there, and we were willing to do that. So I say to all of you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'd also like to say, to my brothers most closest to me, the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, hoorah! May God bless you, and may God bless America, and have a happy 4th of July to celebrate this wonderful country that we live in.